Digimon. When you think of Digimon, you think of power. When you think of Digimon, you think of the Digivolutions. When you think of Digimon, you think of that theme song that you heard every Saturday morning watching 4Kids. That bowl of cereal. With the new recent announcement of Digimon Story Time Stranger, I thought it'd be the perfect opportunity to take a look back and do a retrospective on the Cyber Sleuth games. They not only revitalized the Digimon franchise, but they gave us some of the best monster collecting experiences in gaming history. So today we're gonna do a deep dive on Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory, and on how they stand out, and what Time Stranger needs to do to evolve the formula. My name is D Lion. If you haven't yet, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subs, and we're about to get monetized and rent's due. Please help us out, people. We're so close. Unlike many Digimon games before it, Cyber Sleuth took a bold step by focusing on a mystery-driven cyberpunk narrative set in the digital world of Eden. The game introduced players to a world where the lines between reality and cyberspace were blended. The story wasn't just about training Digimon, it was about investigating digital crimes, hacking into networks, and uncovering a conspiracy that threatened both the virtual, digital, and real worlds. Also, it had some amazing plot. Hacker's Memory took a different approach to the franchise, giving us a much more grounded street level perspective of Eden. So while Cyber Sleuth felt like a grand adventure, Hacker's Memory was more personal, telling you the struggles of a group of hackers, plucky hackers. Everybody's a misfit in their own way, in a world where digital identity meant everything. And then you put these two stories together, they painted a compelling picture of a near future society dependent on cyberspace. So Cyber Sleuth is the My Hero Academia of Digimon games. Hacker's Memory was the Vigilantes. So while one thing is happening here, it's cool to look back while playing Hacker's Memory and like, you remember when this thing happened? You were also here in the background. And then you get it's really cool to see the two different perspectives, because you're like, while all of this is happening in the main story, you're right here in the background as well, telling just an equal compelling story. Before Cyber Sleuth, Digimon games were in a bit of a slump. While some titles like Digimon World Redigitized had cult followings, there hadn't truly been a Digimon game that captured the magic of Digimon since the PS1 days. Cyber Sleuth changed that. With its stylish anime aesthetic, engaging turn-based combat, and deep Digivolution system, it brought Digimon back into the spotlight, especially here in the West. The success of these games proved there was still a hunger for Digimon RPGs. It showed that the franchise didn't need to mimic Pokemon, but could stand on its own by embracing more mature themes and a narrative-driven experience and deeper RPG mechanics. One of Cyber Sleuth's greatest strengths was its cast. From Kyoko, the coffee-obsessed detective, to Arita, the mysterious hacker who's really an otaku, and Nokia, who tries to be a freedom fighter but has no idea what she's doing and is incredibly annoying. But she arguably has one of the best cutscenes in the game, hands down. These characters felt distinct in their own way and added personality to the game's world. Even with the supporting NPCs and surprising depth with the side stories that explored cyberbullying, AI ethics, and the impact of technology on a society. Hacker's Memory expands on its cast of characters by making you basically a handyman. You are one of those people that provide services in Eden, One of the characters is Ryuji, who is the leader of the hoodie hacker group that you're a part of. He's stoic, tough, and he's like the big brother of the group. You then have Chitose, who is honestly the comic relief character who flirts with girls. He's basically his job is to lift the team spirits. And then you have Erica, who is one of the greatest hackers in the entire group, and she's also Ryuji's younger sister. She's also a tsundere shut-in, so have fun with that. And you, we don't talk about you. We never talk about you. So let's talk about the Digivolution system and also the battle system. Of course, what's a Digimon game without Digivolutions? Cyber Sleuth in Hacker's Memory featured one of the deepest systems in the series. It allowed players to evolve and devolve their Digimon to unlock different forms. This flexibility gave players full control over their teams and encouraging implementation. Now, let me tell you, it wasn't as simple as just reaching a certain level makes you digivolve. It's not. It's a lot more complexity to the system, and I'm going to go into it now to give you a basic idea. So there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 specific stats that matter. Well, 6 specific stats that matter on whether or not a Digimon can digivolve. The stats followed HP, SP, attack, defense, int, speed, and camaraderie. ABI also is like, I don't know what ABI actually stands for, but I think that just means like how old the Digimon actually is. In previous games, I guess that means how long your Digimon could live before it dies in Digimon World games, but here it is basically how much experience the Digimon has. So it gets complex because certain evolutions, Digivolutions, require you to have a certain amount of HP, a certain amount of attack, defense, and speed, the whole 9 yards. So it's cool because some Digimon share the same like line as others, meaning if you wanted to get like a Were Garurumon or a Metal Garurumon, for example, it's easier to do it as a Were Garurumon than as a Black Were Garurumon, or to do it as a or if you wanted War Greymon, it's easier to do it as Rise Greymon than it is to do as regular old War Greymon. So it's very in-depth, and if you like being able to, you feel so rewarded when you unlock the black silhouette and then you get to see the Digivolution. DNA Digivolutions are in the game as well. Also, one of the main features of being a hacker is Digimon capture. So every time your character fights a Digimon in battle, it fills up a little scan meter. Once you get to 100% scan, you can actually make those Digimon. So then you can skip the Digivolution page, but at the risk of having a lower ABI. So when you get to the complete series, which is the one I played, you can get up to 200%, which starts you out at 5 ABI, and you can gain more or lose more by de-evolving them, re-digivolve. So it is really cool. And then you have memory. So with the memory system, you're only allowed to store up 11 Digimon at max in your Digivice at once. So, but when battle starts, you can actually only bring out 3. But with that, you would think having 11 Digimon would make the game much easier. No, if you play on hard mode, for example, you will get ran over by these spongy damage-like enemies. So there's also a stat called memory. So I can't just stack up my Digivice with all ultra Digimon because I don't have enough memory. So you kind of have to pick and choose. It allows a big flexibility. So do you have one Mega and then a bunch of champions supporting it, because Digimon do have stats that affect the whole party? Or do you opt to have 3 Ultras and a more balanced team? So some might be vaccine, some might be virus, and then you have neutral types or data types. So there are 4 main types of that. Then they have stats such as light, dark, fire, grass, water, earth, lightning, the whole shebang. But like I said, as you can see, I'm skimming across the top of the system. It's a very deep, enriching system, and I think if you enjoy a little bit more complexity than what Pokemon games have to offer, then this is a series you definitely want to check out. Now, if you've gotten this far into the meat and potatoes of the actual video, thank you. So now let's talk about 3 things Time Stranger needs to do to separate themselves from it instead of just being another Cyber Sleuth. Number 1, Time Stranger needs to have a more dynamic world than Eden. So while Eden was a great setting, it felt static at times. Time Stranger should introduce a more interactive world with choices that impact the story and give you more freedom to explore. I think they're in the right direction by showing us being able to ride Digimon. I think that's amazing that this is a step in the right direction. They also need to upgrade the battle system and difficulty of the game. One of the biggest criticisms of Cyber Sleuth was that hard mode relied too much on enemies simply soaking up damage rather than altering attack patterns or strategy. And it was fun to find a way to do DPS hard enough. There are Digimon that, like, groups that you can make the game really broken and fun, like having 3 Yule Force Vmons and then having 9 of them in a row so that you can just wash everybody. It's the coolest and funniest shit that you can do. It was very broken back then. But Time Stranger needs to introduce smarter AI, new battle mechanics, and a better difficulty scaling to make the fights feel more tactical and engaging. Also, just a fresh story with new themes. Cybercrime and hacking were great themes for Cyber Sleuth, but Time Stranger needs to carve out its own identity with time in the title. Maybe we can explore time travel, alternate realities, and even lost Digimon civilizations. In conclusion, I think if you haven't given it a try yet and you're a fan of Persona or Shin Megami Tensei, then you should definitely give Digimon Cyber Sleuth a try, especially if you're just looking for something to scratch that itch while we wait for the new Pokemon game. Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory weren't just great Digimon games, they were great RPGs, period. They showed the potential of the franchise given the right creative direction, and now with Time Stranger, we have a chance to see the next Digivolution of the Digimon Story franchise. Here's hoping it lives up to the legacy. But tell me, what do you want to see in Time Stranger? Let's talk about it in the comment sections. If you enjoyed this retrospective, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Like I said, we're about to be monetized. Rent's almost due. You know, rent's due. We about to be right here, baby. Come on, let's get it, guys. And thank you so much for listening. I love and enjoy doing more videos like this. Tell me below in the comment section, what video do you want me to cover next? I will take it under consideration, and I will try to play the game as fast as possible and get footage and write a script and do all these things. Please subscribe. Love you guys. I'll see you next video. Super Hate Bros. We out.